You're listening to the Telltale Channel. Don't forget to check me out on all social media: Patreon, Twitter, Teespring, and Etsy. All links can be found in the description or on my website, telltaleatheist.com. Hey, this is Owen. If you're comfortable, leave your first name and state at the sound of the tiny truck backing up.
Hi, Owen. It's James from Canada. My ex and I have two kids, aged 7 and 10. I'm an atheist, and my ex is basically not, like, religion isn't something she thinks about. And I've really realized recently, like, my kids know nothing about religion, and it's come up recently, especially Christian themes around us, things like Easter. They really didn't understand, the significance of the cross or any of the story. And as an atheist, I don't want to point them towards religion per se, but I also want them to be able to think for themselves and be open-minded and know what's going on around them. And I was just wondering your opinion, like, what should I be teaching my kids or informing them on in regards to these issues? Thanks, and I love your podcast.
As far as I see it, you basically have two options. Option A, you can tell them absolutely nothing about it, which is what I wanted to do for a long time. I would rather just keep her away from it. Like, who fucking cares? It's completely irrelevant. Seriously, all of this information is basically completely irrelevant. Or option B, which is the option I ended up having to take eventually, is I talked to my daughter about it in a more clinical, scientific way. And I didn't just talk about Christianity. I talked about Islam and Buddhism and Hinduism and a bunch of different world religions. And I ended up doing that in the first place because I had to. My mother was trying to brainwash my kid. Like, she's trying to convince her that she was right, that Jehovah's Witnesses were right. I had no choice but to basically steelman the position and explain why it's wrong. That's what I had to do, pretty much. And you'll find that there are most likely people in your life, I'm guessing, who are religious and who want to make sure that your kid is also religious, save their soul or whatever else. I mean, I don't know your situation. You're an atheist, but I have to imagine, like, your family members are not atheists. I don't know. Anyway, the point is learning about the history of it and why it's so absurd could be of value to the kid at some point. And I actually sent my daughter to a normal, run-of-the-mill, chill church that's not a cult because I wanted her, in the process of giving her the education about church and religion and all that, I wanted her to have a good grip on the culture that we live in. Because Jehovah's Witnesses completely separate themselves from religious culture, like completely. You're not allowed to go to worldly funerals, for example. You're not allowed to go to any worldly church, basically. You're not allowed to go to the church for worship of a non-Jehovah's Witness denomination. And you would honestly be surprised how much you miss out on being left out of that whole part of the culture. Like, I don't even know how a funeral procession is supposed to take place. I don't know what a wake is like. I don't know what a normal wedding is like. I only know the Jehovah's Witness versions of these things. Like, stuff that you would never think are so heavily ingrained in society and so heavily ingrained in religion. So, I don't know. Personally, I think it may be of value to maybe explain some of this stuff at the very least. And just from like an educational kind of clinical perspective, just so they have an idea of, like, what their friends are talking about when they bring up going to church or whatever else. But it's entirely up to you.